This is To Help You Heal, and I'm your host, Marie Monville. We are going to spend 10 minutes talking about healing. What kind of healing do you need? Is it in your mindset? Is it emotional healing? Is it spiritual healing? There's a lot of healing that we all need, and this is where you're going to find it every week, 10 minutes on Tuesday. I'm so glad you're spending this time with me. Welcome to episode 100 for To Help You Heal. I don't know if you've been around since the beginning, but it felt special to do this episode today. 100 podcast episodes. I want to take you back and tell you a little bit of the story of why I started this podcast, highlight some of the growth that I've had, hopefully the growth that you've had as well throughout these almost 2 years together, and then give you some opportunity to reflect on places in your own life where maybe you're ready to step out into something new. So it's been almost 2 years since I started this podcast. My first episode came out right at July 4th. And I felt this place of freedom, the independence, the freedom that we get from letting go of some of the spaces that we need healing from. And that to me was sort of, the catalyst episode, the one that started it all, that launched me in this direction. But prior to that, where it really came from was writing my book, To Help You Heal. As I was writing that, I thought about the conversations that I was having on those pages and the way that they mirrored things that I've dealt with, things that I know other people deal with, these spaces where we all need healing. And so I had this idea while I was writing the book to do a podcast. And that's why I called it To Help You Heal, because I know that we all do walk out places in our lives where we experience pain and brokenness. And I say this all the time when I'm speaking. In those moments, we look around at the world, the people that we know, maybe just acquaintances on social media or people at church, people in our community, at work, wherever it is. And sometimes we compare ourselves to them. And it makes us feel worse because as we're walking out our places of brokenness, pain, discouragement, disappointment, we're looking at other people that all we really see is the exterior, but what we see from their external, you know, picture that they're giving us is that everything is good in their life and that it's wonderful and that they don't know the things that we know. They're not walking the pain that we're walking. And so I think sometimes that place of pain, our place of pain, it becomes more isolating because we're assuming that everybody else's lives are great and wonderful and couldn't be better. I write about this in To Help You Heal that it's easy to look at somebody's vacation or some type of, experience that they had with their family and think, "Oh my gosh, they must have a perfect family and I wish that mine was like that, or I wish that we could go on a vacation like that." All the while, we're missing the deeper context of their struggles and why this trip was so good for them and so needed, because we don't know them in the depths the way that we know ourselves. But I know that we're all the same. When I share my story and when I speak, I don't just share my testimony, but it's woven into everything. Unless I'm going back to a place that's already heard me share that version of my story, but it really compels people to come up and share a bit of their journey with me, and I know that we all get it. We all walk out our own individual stories of pain and brokenness. We know the same things. We're just not letting it on. We're not telling everybody about it. We're not letting everybody in. We're keeping it in this tucked away, very personal place inside of our heart. And it's easy to miss that when we're walking through our space of difficulty. And so that for me was what compelled these weekly conversations to be able to say, "Hey, you know what? I get it. There's stuff that we have to work on. There are places that we need healing. Let's journey through that together." Because sometimes the healing's in our mindset. I mean, I think probably 80% of the conversations that we've had these almost last 2 years have revolved around some aspect of our mindset, the way we think about ourselves and our life and our expectations. Sometimes we need healing from relationships. Sometimes we need healing from church experiences. There are so many different places in our lives where we need healing, and I wanted to be able to have those really candid conversations with you. When I come to the mic each week, I don't have a script. I don't know exactly what I'm going to say. I have an idea, and it sort of just evolves from there. But I want it to be this 10-minute conversation that you can sort of effortlessly place inside of your day and hopefully want to come back to each week. And so when you think about memories that you've had in however many episodes you've listened to, I hope that there are some places where you can say, yes, I found healing, or I found this space, the reminder that I'm not alone. I'm not the only one that's going through these things. It's not just us, it's everybody else too. For me, it's been so meaningful when I've heard from somebody who's reached out and said, "Hey, that episode that you did, that really resonated with me. That's exactly what I'm going through right now. It's like you did that just for me." I appreciate that because, I'm putting these things out there and I don't necessarily need the feedback. I don't need a pat on the back, but I do love hearing that it mattered to someone else too. And so, if you have something that you want to share with me, I'd love to hear it. Have there been episodes for you that have really been memorable and meaningful for you? Please feel free to send me an email, marie@mariemonville.com, and share that with me. But I think when I think about the accumulation of this journey and the consistency, I don't know that there's much else in my life in this span that I've been that consistent with every single week, going after something that I felt compelled to do. I'm not really one who would say, like, God called me to do this thing. I usually say I felt compelled to it because it's sometimes when we think we're called to do something, if the outcome isn't what we assumed it should be, we can feel like maybe we missed that calling. But when I know that I'm compelled, I feel this draw in my heart. I know the emotion's going to fade, most likely, but I will be consistent because I know that it's what God is asking me for in this season. And so I want to give that to you. Is there a place for you where you've felt compelled to do something? Is there something that you haven't yet stepped into that you really want to, but maybe there's this space that's holding you back? When I did this, I made a commitment to myself that I was going to do it for 1 year. I didn't say I was going to do it forever. I just told myself, look, I'm going to be consistent with this and I'm going to do it for a year. It's easier to embark on something if we're not doing it based on some kind of statistical outcome that involves somebody else. I wasn't saying I'll only do this if I get so many followers, or I'll only do this if there's so many downloads, all of those things. I just told myself I'm going to do this for a year and see what happens. And so, if there's a space for you where you've felt like God is calling you to do something, or you felt compelled in this space of, okay, I think God has something for me here, I want to encourage you to just say, I'm going to do this for X amount of times or X amount of weeks, whatever it is, and not feel like you have to have some defined marker of statistical success, but just that you're making a commitment to yourself. You're making a commitment to the Lord to embark on the consistency of that. What is that? It could be something really personal that's about you and what you need in the season. Maybe you're going to say, once a week, I'm just going to take a walk where I don't listen to anything, no music, no audiobooks, no nothing, where I just take this quiet prayer walk with the Lord and I just spend that solitary time with God. Or maybe you're going to say, you know what, there's this person or there's this thing that I've been doing fairly consistently in my life that I know I need to lay down. Maybe there's a boundary that you need to institute, and you're going to say, I'm going to be consistent with this boundary, even just over the next month. It doesn't have to be for a year, it doesn't have to be 100 times. Maybe you're saying to yourself, I have been telling myself that I need to journal. I talk a lot about journaling throughout the episodes and the power and the impact of that. But it's one of those things that I think can catch us by surprise because it doesn't feel like it's going to be this monumental thing. And sometimes we just don't do it. But it has such an incredible impact. So maybe for you, you're going to say, I'm going to start journaling. Or maybe you want to write your story, or maybe you want to do a podcast too. What is it that you feel compelled to or drawn towards in this season? Where is God calling you? Because whatever it is that He's asked of you, it's for you. And then inevitably, it's going to be for somebody else. Because that's what happens as we embrace these places of our own healing and we find the goodness that lives on the other side of this space. We want to share that with others. We don't want to keep it to ourselves. And so, even if your thing that you feel like you're supposed to do in this season is a walk or a journaling or a boundary or whatever it is, I have a feeling that you're going to end up sharing with somebody who feels inspired by you and then goes on to do their thing too. It's this ripple effect that's going to have an impact, not just in your life, but in the lives of other people as well. So, may this next season be one of healing for you. May it be one that helps you to see a new side of yourself, that sees opportunity where maybe you've just felt setback. And if you want to talk about that a little bit, I'd love to help you step into this next season. You can always schedule a free chat with me, no strings attached. You can find the information for that on my website, and I'll include it in the show notes. Whatever it is that's waiting for you on the other side, I just want to encourage you to step into it. I know that doing this podcast every week for 100 times, it's been an encouragement and a blessing to me. So you will find that as you step into that place, not only will it be for other people, but it's okay to just let it first be all about you. There's healing there. Come on back next week as we launch into episode 101 together. I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but I know it's going to be good.